morning, guys. We're sitting in the car. We got a little farther walk in today than usual. I can usually, since the stroke, I can walk around the block without falling down. And today, I probably walked maybe 3 times that far. And I stumbled pretty hard, but that's not really what today's video is about, guys. This is about how do we affect change in our lives, and why are we waiting, and what are we waiting for, and what do you make a New Year's resolution for? Why do you say I'll start on Monday? It's always later. It's always something that you'll eventually get to. This whole health and wellness ideology, this lose weight and fitness tips idea. Being more motivated now. Thank God to this little stroke. One of the biggest problems I've had is eating late at night. And, I've read hundreds of self-help books. And of course, mixed in with that, I've read just as much, if not more, of the Bible. And you're never going to find the solution out there. It reminds me of love. Like, you're never going to find love. Man, it's not out there. It's in here. So, for example, not eating late at night. Something I have struggled with for the last, 30 years. The best way that I have come up with now, having read all these books and did all this study and literally just fallen asleep to Audible books and read them all day on hikes, 16, 18 hours a day on hikes, and while I'm sleeping and while I'm working and whenever, not that they're all worthless, because they're not all worthless. There's some good information out there, but bottom line, it's in here. You want to quit eating late at night? You quit fucking eating late at night. That's just all there is to it. There's no secret. There's no mystery you're going to figure out. There's nothing to be solved. You want to lose weight? Just lose weight. You're begging to stay fat. You're not going to discover some secret of the universe that all of a sudden helps you get to where you want to be, whether it's money or love or relationship or lose weight or, whatever your goals are, complete school. There's no secrets to the universe. All these self-help books and all these books people have written over the years, they're more just to get you to realize, well, for one, they're just to get rich quick, which makes me want to write one really bad. But you have to understand that that's not what makes you happy anyways. You can do it. That's what makes you happy. You can do it. So going back to the eating late at night, like for me, it's like, I just quit eating late at night. Like, if that's what I'm trying to stop doing, then stop doing it. And I've got to that point. And a big part of that, if you take the stroke out of the picture and go back a month and say, well, how could have I learned my lesson a little sooner and not had this problem? Well, it's just to wake up and realize you're in control. Just be the man of God, be the woman of God, know that you're not intended to eat late, and see why it's bad. That's what's going to help you. For me now, I know it is bad. So it's very easy to not eat late at night. But before, it would have helped me a lot more than reading 250 Audible books. It would have helped me to read one book about health issues related to eating late, for example, or financial issues related to buying a new car every 24 months when you don't need one and trading it in for a higher and higher and higher loan every time. Financial concerns of not putting away 10, 15, 20% of your income for 20, 30, 40 years and retiring extremely wealthy, extremely easily. Look up the reasons of why you want to achieve these things. Hi. Thank you. Got a couple commenters said hi. Thank you so much for saying hi. Hey, that's the number one goal. Hit that like button. Say hi. I'm happy. Trying to affect the world. Trying to. Well, I'm not trying to stay positive. I am positive. Like, I just got up and went for a walk because I'm positive. I'm not folding up in the corner and depressed and popping pills and crying and wishing somebody'd make me better. That's never going to happen. You know, you got to get up and go and make yourself better. One of them for me is like insulin resistance. You know, let's just say you're overweight. Instead of reading books about how to lose weight, because that is pretty insignificant, you're never really going to give a shit about being fat then. You have to understand, you have to learn, you have to look up, you have to know the harmful side effects of being overweight for a long time. You know, I was fit, I was ripped skinny when I was a kid, and then I gained weight, and then I got ripped skinny again as a Golden Gloves boxer, and then I gained weight, and then I got ripped skinny again as a paratrooper, and then I gained weight, and it's been back and forth, back and forth. And what would be good for you is to learn, forget all that stuff, to learn what negative effects are going to have on your body long term to be overweight, you know. So when you want that Dairy Queen Blizzard, and I love them, and that's why I bring them up. It's my it's probably, I can't say it's my favorite food, but like favorite dessert, just if I was going to cheat crazy. Hello, how are you? I bring up the Dairy Queen Blizzard as a because I love it, and that's something I'd want as a dessert. And so okay, so right now I'm thinking about a Dairy Queen. It's 4. Wow, it's already 4:20 almost. So I'm gonna eat dinner in the next hour or two, and then that's gonna be it. Not how much do I love it, not how good is it gonna taste, not what flavor would I love. I mean, I could think of those things. I'm thinking I love Blizzard flavor, I love Snicker flavor, I love any flavor, right? They're all freaking delicious. But they're also vastly spiking my blood sugar. Let's just take me, you know. Which is gonna spike your insulin. Consistently high insulin is gonna harden your arteries and give you high blood pressure, and consistent high blood pressure, that's gonna cause all these other problems, and it leads all the way up to a freaking stroke in your cerebellum. You know, like that's where I'm at. Do I want a Blizzard? Not even close. I don't think I would eat a Blizzard right now if you had $500 bills underneath the thing saying, hey, eat this and you get this. Yes, that sounds silly, but on the opposite side, is my soul for sale for $500? No, it's not. So I got to stick to my guns. And that's what I should have learned sooner, is how damaging is high blood sugar? How damaging is high insulin? Insulin, by the way, talk to your doctors. I'm not a doctor. Do your own thing. Do your own research. Know your own thing. Don't listen to me. I'm always wrong. High insulin is extremely bad for your body. Like when you check, like I check my finger with the little poker every morning, I'm like between 90 and 120-ish, which is good, bad-ish, right in that range. But it doesn't check my insulin. You know, I could eat a meal, check my blood sugar, and say, oh, I'm pretty good. Like let's say 15 years ago. I could say, well, my blood sugar's not very high. Well, yeah, because you're not checking your insulin. Your pancreas is pumping out 20 times more insulin than it should to keep your blood sugar down before you're insulin resistant. That's happening for decades before you get diabetes. So, man, I wish there was a quicker way to just check your diet, check your insulin levels. But this whole conversation started with how damaging is it long term to have high insulin. And my conclusion is, my uneducated conclusion is, very bad for you. So, do I know exactly what to eat? No. Never will claim to know. I do believe processed food is bad. All processed food is bad. It's worse than non-processed food. The more processed, you know, the greater depth of processing, the greater depth of unhealthy. Let's put it that way. The most organic, whole food, clean water you can get, that's going to be the best for you. Do I know how much meat to eat a day? No, I don't. I don't know if it's 1 gram per body, you know, pound of body fat, or if it's 10 grams. You know, I don't know. I do know the body is only like, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it's only like 17 or 18 or 19% protein at any given time. You know, so even like even like a vegan, that eats like almost no meat, their body, which by the way, take them for an example. I'll talk about the meat. I don't know how much meat to eat, but I do know your body is not that much meat. So let's just take a 2,000 calorie diet and say 20% of that. You still only be getting 400 calories of your daily diet from protein. Does it absorb it all? No. Do you get, that part I don't know. I don't know how much meat to eat or anything, but my point is I am eating less. I'm knowing to eat less. I'm knowing to eat whole foods. I'm eating fruit, vegetables, meat. I'm not really eating nuts. I'm not really eating seeds. I'm eating some berries, which I think are sometimes considered fruit in a category anyway. So like I'm eating like 1 or 2 servings of fruit a day. I'm eating damn near as many servings of vegetables I want. And then I'm trying to get some kind of protein, whether it's eggs or beef or chicken, eggs, whatever. I've had today I had an egg white tortilla. It was a 50 calorie egg white tortilla. So I was like, okay, the egg whites have tons of protein in it. It's 50 calories. And I just put 2 baby tomatoes sliced up, 2 slices of cucumber sliced up, some hot sauce, and a sprinkle of like a tablespoon of cheese. Not a quarter cup, not an eighth of a cup, a tiny amount. Rolled that up, fried it with in the hot pan, a tiny bit of like 1 tablespoon of avocado oil in there. Fried that, had 2 of those. That was my breakfast, and that kind of felt like a lot. After I ate it, I was like, maybe I could have ate 1 of those and been all right. And it's a matter of eat less when you can, because you're gonna say, well, Zach, you're at 200, which by the way, I was down to 237 pounds a day. You're a 237 pound dude. You need more food than that. Yes, but if I can eat a small breakfast or even skip breakfast, it's going to be better in the long run. You can always eat a little more later. It's harder to let's say I'm going to eat 700. Let's just say, for example, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,100 calories. And you eat 700 and you eat 700, and then here comes dinner and you eat 700 and you're still hungry. So you have a 400 calorie snack and a 200 calorie this and that. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to delay it a little longer. It's easier to reduce the overall calories by not eating early in the day. I don't drink coffee. I don't use caffeine anymore. But if you drink black coffee, black tea, green tea, herbal tea, stuff like that, that'll get you through breakfast for sure. You can easily make it all the way till noon and eat between noon and 8. You'll be on a 16-8 intermittent fasting program, which I believe is good in that it helps reduce calories. Is it important? Otherwise, I don't really know. I mean, I've read all the stories about the longer you go without eating, which I've went weeks and weeks without eating. So I know it's easy and it can be done. I could easily go 3 days without eating. It's not even challenging. I do believe it ramps up your metabolism, your growth hormones, your testosterone, and your immune system, and besides immune system, also your cellular rejuvenation starts happening way before that. So 3-4 days fasting is plenty. But the point of the story is how to eat less. So I ate that small breakfast. Stayed busy, had some appointments. I'm able to drive a little bit now. I can't really walk that great, but I can walk around a little with wobbling a little. And I can drive though, because I'm just sitting here doing nothing. And the afternoon flew by and I didn't eat lunch until like 1:30 or 2 o'clock or something, maybe a few hours ago. And I had some leftover hot dish that I made with high protein pasta, some homemade tomato sauce, some ground turkey. And this ended up making like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 servings, 6 or 7, 6 or 8 servings. Threw some of it away, had extra a couple times. But anyway, it just had the protein pasta, the ground turkey, the homemade pasta sauce, and then had onions, green peppers, mushrooms. And it was pretty basic. It wasn't much to it. And so I had a bowl of that, sliced up a radish. I mean, a radish, for example, or a cucumber or celery. This is extremely filling food that has practically 0 calories. Like a radish, if I just eat it, it's kind of too spicy or whatever. But if you slice it thin, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of them, slice them thin to where it's just paper thin, and just lay it out on your plate. Put your meat, put your vegetables, put your fruit, whatever. It's just an easy way to cut down your calories without cutting down on your fullness at all. You know, I've tried the carnivore diet, and I really am having a hard time believing anybody is actually eating 100% meat 100% of the time. Not that it's never done, but I'm having a hard time believing anybody's actually sticking to that, because it's very hard to stick to. You still crave carbohydrates strongly. I do anyway. Like, I can eat a 12-ounce ribeye and I'm very full and very satisfied, but I still have that craving for carbohydrates. You know, you talk to people, they'll say, I'm on day 1 of carnivore, day 2, day 3, day 4. I don't know what day I'm on changing my life. I just know I'm changing my life. I'm not on any day of it. I feel fine. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of anything I want. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of any particular nutrient or macronutrient. I'm trying to get all my vitamins and minerals in. You know, I'm trying to get all my carbohydrates and fat and protein that I need. I'm not claiming to know what those needs even are, but I'm trying to give my body what it needs. And a big part of that, a big part of like, well, what do I believe, is, well, how do you feel? You know, do you feel great on carnivore? Well, then stick with it for a couple weeks, crash that weight, and then start adding in some carbs. You know, you look at the blue zones. I almost said green zones for some reason. If you look at the blue zones around the world, those are the zones where they have the most amount of people that have lived over 100. I think they call them centurions. Oldest woman in the world, for example, right now lives in Japan. She's not on a carnivore diet. You know, she's not on some macronutrient restricting diet in any way. She's eating whatever she wants, but of course it's something specific. You know, it's carbohydrates. You know, it's people eat carbs and live to be over 100. So like, this is without debate anymore to me. I mean, these doctors on YouTube that are getting rich claiming to know what diet to be on, well, great for them. They're getting rich. I don't know if they're actually on that diet or not, but for me, it's like, hey, something led to this stroke and something led to this high blood pressure, and I was trying to do carnivore as much as I can, but it's very difficult, and I think in the long run it had extremely negative side effects. Will it have negative side effects for everybody? No, I don't think so. I think there's differences of different people. Everybody has their own thing. There's definitely people out there that are doing carnivore that have helped heal their bodies from whatever issues they had. It seems obvious. But do I believe all the proponents of the diet and everything they say? No, I don't. You look at some of the biggest carnivore guys, for example. I don't need to say their name. I don't even know them that well, but they posted some pictures recently about some vegan woman that passed away. Like, she was like eating only fruit and got down to like 50 pounds and died. And it's say, well, that, you know, so it's easy to look back. Let's say you're on that diet and you just believe it. I need a 12-ounce ribeye every single day. And you say, look at that woman. Hey, she ate fruit and died. Well, that dude eating the 12-ounce ribeye every day is fat. He's not even healthy. He's not even in a healthy body state. That woman was, and she just took it way too far. So where's the example of, I was on the carnivore diet and I lost so much weight that I died? They don't have that. They don't even have that to the point where they had to come up with a little, well, no, the carnivore diet's not that. It's the weight optimization diet. You know, it's the diet that'll make you your perfect weight and you'll never lose too much. And it's like, well, no, it's not that you won't lose too much. It's that you will stall out. You will be unable to lose any more weight. You'll get pissed because you're doing this diet strictly and it doesn't work. Then you see these vegetarian women, who I also don't agree with, but at least you can say they are disciplined enough in their diet to take it so far to extreme that it kills them, that they lose so much weight that they die from being so small. Okay, I'm 237 pounds. That is not too small. So should I eat fruit? Should I eat vegetables? Like, are they the best thing in the world? The Bible says eat fruit. In the Garden of Eden, God commanded Adam and Eve to partake of the fruit of the trees of the garden. Leviticus chapter 11 talks about what meat to eat. cloven hooves, chews the cud, blah, blah, blah. It names animals by name, but also it just tells you how to know which animals to eat. They have cloven feet and they chew the cud. And what fish to eat tells you they basically, without going about the whole chapter, it's the fish has to have scales and fins. So that's an idea of, they gleaned corn in the New Testament. Jesus was walking through the field and the people following him gleaned corn. They ate bread, they ate fish, they ate fruits. So there's a ton of things. Hello. Oh, hi people. Thank you for saying hello. So the Bible gives a lot of examples of what to eat. And my point is that that's a good place to start. Let's eat fruit. Let's eat vegetables. Let's eat cloven-footed, chew the cud animals like beef and chicken and turkey and, goat and whatever animals fall into that category. Elk, moose, deer, you can eat them all and they're healthy for you. So, but in the long term, but the bigger picture than that though, even like what to specifically eat is to eat less. And it really feels good when you start doing it, when it becomes a point of like really trying to get your calories down there. It's a hell of a lot easier than, like, I'll tell you, like carnivore diet, for example. The only reason it works so great is because you're getting no sugar. So that like wipes out your insulin and your sugar spikes, which is great. But you're getting all that fat, which it's 9 calories per gram of fat, where carbs only has 4 calories per gram of carbs and 4 calories per gram of protein. And you really can't even count all the protein, because how many 50 grams a day are converted by your body from old protein diets and needs new protein? Which, if I go back to how much meat to eat, I mean, I do believe you need to eat at least 50 grams of protein per day. And probably wouldn't have much damage doubling, tripling, and quadrupling those amounts, depending on how you feel. It's up to you. The blood work doesn't lie as much. All these doctors on YouTube, you don't know who to believe. So it's here or there. It's, man, just make it up as you go. They all work. Every diet works. You eat less, you'll lose weight. But will you be healthy? Maybe not. Like, you can go on the chocolate donut diet. This is where I disagree with some of these doctors. They'll act like, well, if you eat 1,000 calories of sugar every day, you'll get fat. And it's like, not if you're working out every day. Not if that's so limited amount of calories that you could probably eat damn near anything if you're a healthy individual, and you would lose weight like crazy because you're reducing your total calories. It's just known fact. There's guys, you could get on YouTube and find a guy, he ate McDonald's, massive amount of McDonald's every day for a month, and his blood numbers actually improved. No, he didn't eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He ate it one meal all at one time. He was showing how effective one meal a day is. And it's not the greatest example of what I'm talking about, but it's a good example of it. Doesn't hardly even matter what you eat. It's a good example of that. And you can still get healthy and lose weight. So why not? I mean, I'm talking about healthy food, whole food, just whole food, as whole as you can get it. And I got to show you this thing with this apple coming up. But whole food as you can get, pure waters you can get. Why would you drink a soda pop? I mean, I haven't drank one of those in years and years and years and decades. It sounds utterly ridiculous to me. Like, why would I slit my wrist if I'm trying to stop bleeding somewhere else in my body? Like, why would I harm myself when I'm trying to heal myself? Like, there's just no reason. It's literally like adult men, for example, drink Mountain Dew, and it's liquid candy. It's not like, oh, this is an adult. This gives me energy. This is a beverage of an adult. No, this is liquid candy. This is terrible for you. Drink water. It's all I drink. Just get up and drink water. I weigh myself pretty early before I get too much like anything else in my body, just so I know where I'm at for the day. I check my blood sugar. I check my blood pressure. Take your medication if you have some. Get off of it if you can, which is what I'm going to try to do. I told her today, matter of fact, I have about a 2-year plan to be off all this medicine, and probably even before that, but I wanted to make it sound like it was a long time for her. And my point is, how delicious compared to that Mountain Dew, how delicious is the healthy whole food? Because it is delicious. Like strawberries, a pint of strawberries have barely any calories. Pint of blueberries, they have a little more calories, but they're extremely good for you. So you could just find what's some high protein, like Greek yogurt, like plain Greek yogurt is pretty high protein. And you can buy the lower fat content. Not that the fat's all that bad for you. It just makes it a lot easier to eat less calories if you don't have that 9 calories per gram fat compared to that 4 calories a gram carbohydrate. So you get some high protein, plain Greek yogurt. Sprinkle 1/4 cup of blueberries, 5 strawberries cut in half, whatever. Throw that on top of a 1/2 cup. That's an awesome dessert or lunch or whatever you want it to be, a side to a meal. It tastes amazing. Matter of fact, I'm going to have it here probably in the next hour. I'm going to cook some dinner and I'm going to have that as my side or my dessert. But it's a way to keep the calories down while keeping the deliciousness high. Chicken is great. You can eat chicken, just don't fry it. Just don't put it in batter. Like I said in the Bible, they ate the bread and the fish. It's like, yeah, but how did they make that bread? It wasn't with any flour that you can find today. I guarantee you that. It wasn't bleached white flour enriched to last for decades. And yeah, it wasn't that. And I'm not saying I even know what it was. I want to know. I looked up, talking about bread, because I do love bread. I don't want to eat bread. I don't want to eat pasta. If I could find some healthy versions of it, though, yeah. Bread would definitely be something I want. And I looked up Ezekiel, I think it's chapter 4, verse 11 or 4, verse 19. I think it's Ezekiel 4:19, but it talks about bread. And it's like this sprouted grains, and then make that, add that up into a meal, into a flour, and then make bread out of that. And so they do have a bread out there that's similar to that, but nothing's going to be as good as homemade bread. So let's just wrap this up. Down to 237 pounds. Is that, I think the least I've ever weighed on this channel is 236 pounds. So I'm 1 pound away. And that was when I first started the channel. And I was doing like 4 days of fasting and 4 days of OMAD and 4 days of fasting and 4 days of Atkins and then 4 days of fasting and then 4 days of, keto. I was trying different diets in between fasting, and I had to go hard. And it was like day 1, day 2, no, you're never going to change like that. That's not how you change your life. That's not how you're going to affect the change long-term in your life. If you want to quit eating late, best thing to do is read a book about, no, don't read a book. Just quit eating late. You want to lose weight, read a book about losing weight. No. You can do that, but if it helps motivate you. But otherwise, you have to just change your life. You can't lose weight. You can't have a New Year's resolution. You can't start Monday. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to work out more. Every single day is the same thing. I wake up and you're going to eat the best you can. You're going to work out the most you can. It doesn't need to be extreme. You don't need to run a marathon. You don't need to lift 500 pounds. You just need to get them reps in. For me, for right now, I can barely walk, but before this stroke, it was pretty common where I would hit the gym and I would do push-ups everywhere I went and squats everywhere I went and crunches and planks everywhere I went. So I was getting workouts in. I was getting those reps in. And that's what it's about. Affect change by just changing. It sucks that it's that simple. I have to say it that simple. It's not super easy or anything, but it's the way it has to be. If nothing ever changes, nothing ever changes. If I don't stop eating late, well, then you're never going to stop eating. You just got to stop doing it. That's why I said, like, I'm going to eat in the next hour or two, and that's going to be it. I don't even hardly want to. You get to the point where, I don't want to lose a bunch of muscle mass, but I do want to lose a bunch of weight. And so part of me is like, you need to eat some protein. You need to get some food in you. And that's what it's all about. It's like I eat to to energize my body to the you know, about to the minimum it needs. You know, like for lunch today, for example, it was a little much. Like I quit eating it. I was like, just, my wife grabbed it and she looked at it and I was like, just throw it away. I don't even want to look at it, because I felt it was enough as I was eating it. I was like, it was a chicken breast there, and I had finished the radish, and there was some of the hot dish in there, and it was in this one bowl, and I was just like, throw it all away. I had finished the radish, but the chicken was still in there, the hot dish was still in there. I ate some of it, and we just threw the rest away. And you got to get to that point, you know, and you'll get better and better at it. You'll get better at shopping, which I'm already learning. I'm already on Walmart. Like, I'm already like, I use Walmart a lot, whether I go there or not, just to add the products. So it's kind of like a checklist when I go grocery shopping. But if I do, sometimes I order from them too, and they'll just drop the stuff up at my door. I'm learning, like, quit ordering stuff on there, because the food lasts you way, way, way longer than it used to. You know, planning meals and meal planning and meal prepping, and it's a lot easier when it's very little. When you only eat a small breakfast, a small lunch, and a small dinner, and you can easily skip breakfast, you can easily skip lunch, you know, it gets easier and easier to where you need less and less food, you need less and less planning, less and less prepping, and people act like they don't have time, and it's like, this is easier. This is less time, eating, prepping, cleaning. This is less money, you know, buying, shopping, stacking up the fridge. You know, it reminds me when I used to go grocery shopping, I would literally buy everything that sounded good, and I would just start eating it. And I would eat it all, man. I didn't wait for the next meal. I just kept eating. I went from try this to try this to try this to try this, like over and over and over. I would eat meals and meals on top of meals. That's why I was 350 pounds. That's why I had diabetes, and that's why I got a stroke. So now I know. Hello, hi. Thank you so much for saying hi. When did you get the barbed wire tattoo? Oh, I got, one of the commenters asked about the barbed wire tattoo. Where did I see that? Oh, on the arm here. I got a few tattoos, but the barbed wire was specifically, oh, there's my, you might guess the barbed wire then if you see the jump wings. The barbed wire was symbolic of basic training. Climbing under the wire and being in basic, and then I got my jump wing there when I was in, my airborne tattoo there. Wasn't the 82nd. That was just a few years. That was just a few years of my life. But thank you guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and remember, eat less. Don't eat late at night. Just drink your water in the morning. Add a bunch of workouts in. We're going to get more and more detailed as the months go by. It's probably going to take a few months, and I'll be down. I'll be way skinnier than I was. Just because now I know it's not about dieting. It's not even about focusing on health. It's more just knowing that it's bad to do the opposite. It's like, I was talking about Mountain Dew earlier. Nothing ever of any part of my day tries to get me to stop drinking Mountain Dew. Like, it never comes to my mind. It's only as a negative. That's something I would definitely never do. And it kind of turns into more than that. Like, well, I would never eat processed food as a means of survival. You know, I might eat processed food here and there as a luxury item, but it's definitely not going to be like, well, a box of this cheap, processed food is a lot cheaper, so I'll just buy that. And it's like, well, I'd rather eat half as much and eat the whole food then. And like I talked about the vegans and the fruitarians, like, they can take that diet so extreme that they can die from it. So you tell me what works. They died from being skinny, but let's say they didn't. Let's say they pulled the there's these average people that have weight loss problems where they're way too skinny. They're mostly healthier than you are, being way too fat. So you have to look at the mental. Well, they got the mental game more figured out than you do by far, because they won't even eat enough, to maintain, they're damn near passing out. Now, you, for example, gaining weight is a survival mechanism. It's a way that our forefathers packed on weight to survive a long winter, blah, blah, blah. But we can gain we can gain that knowledge from that skinny person that took that diet way too far and take it way too far. Take it to the point where we want it. Like a healthy weight for me, I'm going to look up my BMI and I'll talk about it tomorrow. But I think the high end of my BMI is 160 pounds. And so it's got to be at least 20 below that. So say 140 to 160. Now, if you see me at 140 pounds, that is going to look ridiculous compared to a 315 pound dude that was bench pressing 420 pounds and lifting 505 pounds. You won't recognize this 140 pound dude, and you'll think the 140 pound dude is sick. You won't even say anything about the 315 pound dude when the 140 pound dude is elite more healthy. Elite more healthy. Gonna live to be way longer than that 300 plus pound dude. So the point of the story is like, hey, learn that lesson of those skinny people that get way down there and they can take their diet to the extreme to the point of death. You can't. So that part of the mental game, they got figured out. It's just to the point where when do you pull up and when do you quit losing weight? Well, I know, like for me, there's no way I'm going to let myself go below about 170 because that's a little over my BMI, but I'm a pretty muscular dude. I'm short. I'm only like 5'8.5", but I'm big. Like I did bench press 420 pounds at one point, like 20 years ago in my early 30s. So I do know I have some physical stock there that I might have to compensate for. And if my body gets to that point where it's like, okay, you're 175 pounds and dude, that's what I'm going to stay. I'm not going to worry about the last 5 or the last 10 pounds. Worry about that first 100 pounds. That's what you need to worry about. You get down to, you don't give yourself credit enough at all. You weighed 350 pounds. Okay, for me, where am I at? 315 down to under 240. So that's 60, 75, 72, 75, 76, 76. That's 78 pounds. I'm 78 pounds of pure blubber smaller than I was 9 years ago. Now that's a long 9 years, and I went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's not the greatest way to do it, but I will give myself credit. I told my doctor today, yes, I have a long ways to go, but I have come a long way. Now I lose another 78 pounds and it doesn't take me anywhere near 9 years. That's where I'm at right now. That's it, guys. This video is getting way too long. We got to wrap it up. Drink water. Eat less. Exercise. Feel great. Jesus loves you. I love you.